The penny could soon be a thing of the past. President Trump is pushing to end production of the 1 cent coin, citing its rising costs. Each penny costs nearly 4 cents to make, and scrapping it could save taxpayers about $56 million a year. And that raises the question, does it still make sense to keep minting them? Our Dima Zain has more.
It's the latest step in the Trump administration's push to end the 1 cent piece. For more on this fight and what it could mean for you, we're now joined by John Feigenbaum, who runs Whitman Publishing, a leading producer of numismatic reference books and executive director of Professional Numismatist Guild, an organization made up of the country's top rare coin and collectible paper money dealers. John, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
To jump in, I want to ask, how big of a deal is this?
You know, it's a huge deal that we're finally, coming to an end with the United States cent. It's an amazing time in collecting for us and in the whole numismatic community. And we've been waiting for this shoe to drop, actually, I have, for a long time.
So in 2006, the penny became more expensive to make than its value. Can you talk a little bit about how that stands today?
Yeah, I think the last time we checked, it cost 3.7 cents to make a 1 cent penny. So as you can see, every time you make a coin, you lose money, which is really a bad situation for any manufacturing facility, which is what the United States Mint really is at the end of the day.
And talking about how much money that is, how big of savings is this really going to be?
Well, it's substantial, and I think it would be really exciting if we shifted the production from, let's say, the penny to a $5 coin, for example, which I think is much more practical in the current time. Let's buy a cup of coffee with a coin rather than what can we do with a penny? I don't know. I don't pick them up anymore.
The nickel costs 13.8 cents to produce. That's a 5-cent nickel. So do we see that other coins could be next on the chopping block?
I would suspect that practical minds would prevail in that regard, and I think the nickel is probably in the same department where it should be reconsidered whether we keep making them. Again, it's the whole, do I pick this up off the street kind of mentality? Does it pass that test?
So what are some of then the potential downstream consequences that we may see as a result of getting rid of the penny?
Well, the common argument against getting rid of the penny has traditionally been, that this hurts low-income families and things like that. And it's certainly something that we should be very sensitive about. But the practical, remedy is to round up to the nearest, right now, the nickel. I just think it's a better use of the government's time and energies to make a more valuable coin that you could buy a cup of coffee or a sandwich.
What's going to happen with those pennies that are circulating now?
Well, there is nothing short of billions of these pennies in circulation, sitting in jars and all over this country and in the world. So the pennies are still, legal tender. So you don't have to rush to the bank to get rid of them. You can hold on to them. They'll still always be worth 1 penny, and perhaps they'll be worth more if collectors get super interested in the hobby. But they're always going to be worth a penny. So I think that people will find interest in this. You've invited me here to your show, which is just, I can't tell you, is wonderful. And I hope that this sparks an interest in our hobby.
John Feigenbaum, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.